So I had a question to you, Uber, Lyft drivers, anybody that currently does it or has been doing it. I've been thinking about doing it. I keep hearing mixed things, and it's kind of hard. Like I've taken Lyft and Uber many times. Uh, I typically, try to ask like, oh yeah, how many hours you work, how many fares do you give, how much money do you average a week, you know. Um, and it's kind of hard to get a straight answer. Taxi drivers kind of are like strippers. You can ask them how much money they make, and it's very difficult to get a real answer. So I'm asking you, YouTube, any of you drive for Lyft or drive for Uber or have driven for Lyft or Uber? How many fares do you average a week? And how much money do you average making a week? Of course, I know that that fluctuates depending on how much you work and just business. But just on the average, I was looking at Lyft, and Lyft keeps advertising $1,000 a week guaranteed if you do 50 rides or more per week for the first month. $1,000 a week guaranteed. It's a promotional deal. And that's a pretty good amount of money. 50 fares isn't really that much. That's 10 a day, 5 days a week. But after that promotion's done, I'm curious to know, is it one of those jobs that you can work 40 hours a week and make a living off of, or do you have to work 6 10-hour days in order to make money? When I say money, I'm not expecting to make $1,000 a week driving for Lyft or Uber, but I'd like to get a general idea of roughly what they make, how many hours they put in, and how many fares per week they are averaging to make X amount per week. My current job is, I get paid pretty well. The benefits are good. It's union. It's a good company. I've got really no complaints except for what I specifically do. It's almost strictly physical labor. And, it's basically moving hundreds of chairs and dozens of dozens, if not hundreds of tables from one part of the resort to the other, taking stuff down, putting them over here, putting stuff up over here. It's the same shit. It's very boring. It's very monotonous, very repetitive, but it does pay well. But it's also very physically demanding. I could do that job, my current job. Well, I have been doing it full time for about 2.5 months. I could continue to do it. It's not it's just physically hard. It's hard. It's hard on your feet, hard on your knees, hard on your back. And it's not a job that I want to do full time. And unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck into it. So I'm thinking about Lyft. I used to drive a taxi before, but this was before Lyft and Uber. In fact, this is pretty much before the internet, before smartphones. And I made good money, but I also had to work a lot. I also had to work 6 days a week, between 8 and 10 hour days. The money was there, made good money. I got burnt out real fast. But it's a different type of business with Uber and Lyft. Yeah, you're picking people up and driving them around, but they're people, Uber and Lyft, it's attached to your bank account, and you have the phone app. So everything's prepaid for, so you don't have to dick with cash, which is a great thing. You don't have to worry about being robbed or being stiffed on a fare, stuff like that, So it's a whole new different technology, which makes it a lot easier on the driver and actually on the people, because it's considerably cheaper than the typical standard yellow cabs. So if any of you have worked for Lyft or Uber, if you can give me an honest answer about how much money you made a week, how many days and hours did you have to work in order to make that much money, and roughly how many fares did you have to do. And one cool thing with Lyft is they're saying that you can lease a car from them, and if you do 70 fares a week, it's free. So you basically get a brand new car if you're doing 70 fares a week. And if you only do between 50 and 70, then you pay $120 a week. So I'm kind of curious to know about that too. I'm kind of curious to know if that overlaps into the promotional deal with, $1,000 a week guaranteed for the first month if you do 50 fares. Because although I do have a car, it doesn't qualify because of its age. Like, it has to be a 2005 or newer. Mine's a 2001. All of my cars in great shape. It's 4-door. Has 75,000 miles. I've ridden in Lyft and Uber cars that have considerably more miles and are a little bit more beat up. But bottom line is they just won't accept it because of the year. So I'm going to have to lease a car from Lyft. So yeah, if you guys could help me out with that, because I just put in my 2 weeks notice today. I'm wondering if I did a little bit prematurely. But when you're burnt out on a job and you get home and you're fucking physically sore, and though I have 2 days off a week, they always split them, so they're never together. But even if they are together, then the 5 weeks of straight physical manual, no break, fucking sucks. Either way, you guys could help me out. I'll be reading these comments very closely. Typically, as you know, I kind of like hit or miss if I read my comments. Depends on the video and whatever. I've got too many videos to read all the comments. But this one in particular is a question to Uber and Lyft drivers, or former Uber and Lyft drivers. You guys can give me a heads up before I step into something that is going to be worse than the current job I'm working at, which isn't all really that bad. I just don't want to do it for the rest of my life. I've seen some guys that are on my crew have been doing it for a long time, and they're pretty beat up physically. It's just if you guys have ever had to help, well, I'm sure you've had to help move. It sucks. Yeah, think about moving. Fucking 40 hours a week. Sucks. But yeah, so I'd appreciate your comments. I'll be taking a look at them over the next few days and try to get an honest feel for what the job's like and what it pays and how much you have to work in order to make X amount of pay and how many fares you have to take. If you want to throw in any pros or cons, I know one pro is I get to make my own schedule, which is very, very nice. Very flexible like that. So if I don't feel like working, I don't have to, which is good. So yeah, so thanks for the commentary in advance, and I'll be checking on that over the next few days. So if I need to, I can change my mind before it's too late with my current job. Thank you.